Reinhardt is getting reworked. Oh, well, actually, reworked probably isn't the right way to describe this. Reinhardt is getting rebuilt, if that makes any sense. I'm going to go into detail on this in this video, guys. I'm Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. Okay, check this out. This is an interview that Dynamic has performed with Jeff and Bill from the Overwatch team. Jeff Goodman, not Jeff Kaplan. Now, this has got a ton of information in it. I'm going to link to this in the video description. Go and check it out. However, in this video, we're going to focus on the more interesting bits and pieces. Now, when I say there's some interesting bits and pieces in this, a lot of it, or well, some of it is kind of like PR responses. You know, if one of the devs are asked a question like, hey, what's going to happen in Overwatch next year? Well, the dev's not going to go, well, actually, we've got no ideas. We don't know what we're going to do. They're going to say, well, we've got loads of ideas, but we can't tell you what they are, but they're super, super great and awesome. So those kind of questions are absolutely pointless. So we ignore them in this video, ladies and gentlemen. However, let's kick this off with a bit of information on Petra, because there might be some bits of lore which indicate new heroes stashed away on the map. Or, of course, it might be just complete nonsense. But check this out. In terms of the story, I think we have it set up where the archaeologist is currently excavating the area of shrines, trying to recover something from the area. And Overwatch is at its early stages, so new maps like these are an opportunity for us to start teasing out any upcoming plot lines or to set the routes for things we want to do. Maybe in the game, a cinematic, or other kinds of long-running plot lines, so finding out more about the story of Petra is kind of down the future and leaves you hanging a little. So this is kind of, you know, that's standard Blizzard fare. They generally do this. Little bits of teasers on maps, little pieces here and there. I mean, let's be real, the lore of Overwatch is kind of all over the place. Like, I would love it if we had some sort of unifying factor, something which brought all the storylines together, because everything is kind of all over the place. You've got the comics, you've got the animated shorts, which generally focus on what's going on in the past. There's a lot of stuff. Like, it would be nice if we had a coherent story, I think. Anyway, Jeff adds to what Bill just said and says this. It's intentionally vague, and the map has lots of mysteries built into everything. The environmental artist did an incredible job, which actually, you know, I want to come in here and say they did. Petra is a really nice map. No, like, I mean, no matter what you guys think about Petra, because it's a very large map for deathmatch, and you can feel sometimes like you're running around and you don't really find anyone. But for me personally, it is actually quite a nice map. But then again, I enjoy playing hit scan heroes, and I think hit scan heroes work really well on Petra. Anyway, Jeff goes on. The environmental artist did an incredible job, especially when we were first testing out the map. At one point, they just checked in a massive art update, and it was in the interior at the backside where the huge cavern that opened up, which was previously a wall. When the playtest email came in, we looked at the map and asked, oh, what is this new map? I've never seen this before. I didn't even realize it was the same map because it just looks so different and so awesome. I was really happy how awesome it looked, and it just looks amazing. So yeah, whatever. It is a nice looking map. It's a big map. It's a nice looking map, and that's Petra, ladies and gentlemen. But there are bits of lore stashed away on Petra, so we should probably start running around the map and trying to work out what's going on. And then they were asked about the Pink Mercy skin. Now, to me, this was a good question, but the answer. I mean, the answer's okay, but obviously we're not going to get any, like, oh yeah, we're going to do this charity skin now, because I think they're probably trying to balance the really good response they had to the skin with not trying to burn out the community by doing it too often. I think that's probably what's going on. Anyway, Jeff says this. I think it's possible. We haven't really committed to anything new yet, but I think Pink Mercy was sort of a trial run to see how the response goes, and it certainly blew us away. I mean, I can't say enough how grateful we are to the community and the players and everyone that was involved. It certainly is a great direction. Well, we know that this has made millions and millions in terms of money for charity. I don't think that we've had the final figure for this out yet. Maybe we'll get that soon. If we have, I've totally missed it, but I know it was a crazed amount. It was almost, I think it was over $10 million when they last spoke about it. That's just utterly insane. So what about competitive rewards? Now, this is another thing, right? You don't really get anything for playing competitive. Yeah, you get a rank. Yeah, you get a spray if you manage to land in top 500. Yes, you get a spray for just playing your placement games. But beyond that, you just get a golden weapon. And let's be honest, the golden weapons are a bit meh. I mean, they're all right. I mean, when the game first came out, it was a nice status symbol to say, hey, look, I've got a golden weapon. Check me out. That was cool, and they were kind of rare. But now everybody's got golden weapons. I mean, I generally start off the season buying a golden weapon, then I earn one pretty quick after that. All these other competitive modes that we've got now, you just do your placement games. Like, for me, I'm luckily enough, I'll end up generally in Masters for those. So then I get a load more competitive points at the end of the season, and I just get tons and tons of competitive points, to the point where I literally do not spend my comp points anymore, because I'm like, whatever, I'll just save it. I might buy some. Like, I don't even buy it for heroes that I play. I mean, I bought it for Hanzo, the last golden weapon I bought, which Hanzo, I've played a bit of Hanzo, but it's not like he's like my favorite hero. I was just like, whatever, I'll buy the Hanzo bow. So, anyway, this is what Jeff says. We've actually talked a lot about that recently because it's getting to a point where people are accruing over time, and we agree with you that it feels like we could be doing more with it, and we'd love to provide more avenues where you could use these points. I don't have anything to announce right now, but we're actively talking about it and coming up with solutions for it. So this is good. They are trying to give us rewards or different rewards for spending competitive points. Now, this could go a couple of different ways. Now, we know with the endorsement system, you will get rewards, and I believe they have teased we'll get skin discounts and loot boxes. It would be really nice if we could spend comp points on skins, because let's be real here, if you're earning a lot of competitive points, you're playing a ton of Overwatch, right, through the various competitive modes. Giving you the ability to use those points to buy skins, I think would be absolutely awesome, because these are like the most difficult thing to earn in the game. So, what's a few skins here or there? That would be like honestly awesome. And then you could start going even deeper into things like the loot box system and just say, Blizzard, let us just buy the stuff that we want, like literally every game does now. It's almost like loot boxes are kind of old hat. Anyway, moving on. So this is Reinhardt. This is the bit that got me most interested, because we know Reinhardt has a lot of problems right now. Generally with Earthshatter can be quite... It's very hard to predict if Earthshatter is actually going to hit. We've all been there where you drop the hammer and for some reason you stun the enemy team, even though their Reinhardt had his barrier blocking it, but it didn't actually block it, so you just wiped them all out. Or like you try to use it and like the smallest piece of terrain blocks it, and so nobody gets hit by it, and then you're left wondering like, what's going on? Or for me, the worst thing is when you try to use it and you just get instantly shut down. Like if you get slammed with a Brigitte or you just die, it's like, oh god. But that's probably a problem with me. But we know this is a very, very buggy ability. Now, it's been looked at in the past because it actually works differently. Like the way I think it was explained is it sort of travels up the scenery. So when you smash the ground, it's not just like a ground level effect. It kind of travels up a little bit of the scenery. So if you are on some high ground, like if you're on the payload, sometimes it can catch you, sometimes it won't. In the past, it used to get you all the time, and it was ridiculous because you could like Earthshatter a Pharah when she was in the air, which is crazy, and there was loads of issues with it. But Reinhardt's got tons of problems. Anyway, things like his charge. Sometimes it will connect when it should, other times it will just punt people away. This is very frustrating. His hammer can be frustrating to use as well. Sometimes it knocks people very far away. Sometimes it doesn't knock them anywhere. Like, it's crazy. Reinhardt is a really buggy hero. Anyway, this is what Jeff says. Yeah, he's actually being looked at right now. The biggest change we're pushing for, it's the biggest change we're pushing for right now, but it's tough because there are some technical challenges and we might not make it for the update. Now, I think for the update, he's talking possibly about what's actually on the PTR right now with the Symmetra, because this update was conducted before that. Obviously, it only has just gone live, this interview, but he goes on to say this. We are working on some new behind-the-scenes tech for his Earthshatter Ultimate. Praise Jeff. He has, Jeff Goodman that is, he has a lot of issues on that, many inconsistencies in his ultimate that in the past we tried to fix with one-off debugs, but we started to realise there were a number of larger systemic problems with the way that it would detect targets and the tech that it is laying on. We're actually rebuilding that from the ground up. That's why it's taking a little bit of time, but it's actually high up on our priority right now, and I'm hopeful we're going to get it in within the next patch or two. It would be really helpful because not only would it fix a lot of the bugs, but also a ton of inconsistencies with the ultimate and in the game. This is beautiful because it is massively inconsistent, Earthshatter. You don't know whether it's actually going to land. Like, the only time you can guarantee you're going to get the hit on Earthshatter is if you're on a perfectly flat piece of land and there is no barrier blocking like you hitting the enemy. Then you will almost certainly get them. However, Overwatch, it's very rare that there won't be a barrier, that there won't be something blocking, that there might be a bit of terrain, and this is why you get tons of problems. Like, we've all been there. Like on Rialto, on the second point on Rialto, just before you sort of go into the Talon headquarters at the end of the map, there is some stairs like inside a building. Now, these stairs, I have dropped an Earthshatter on there and hit people that should not have been hit. Like, I don't know how the Earthshatter has got them. It's got them. I'm not complaining because it's like smashed them all down. That's crazy. Like, having a result from an ability which is really unpredictable, or not being able to predict the result, means you can't be consistent with the usage of the ability. Now, let's be real here, guys. It's been like this since the start of the game. Reinhardt is a buggy hero, so it's good that he's being looked at. Anyway, Jeff goes on and drops this bit of a bombshell. Outside of that, we're talking about some changes to him. He's kind of difficult to change sometimes because he's kind of a core part of a lot of meta strategies and team comps, and he's particularly in an interesting spot right now because of the way Brigitte has fallen into the meta, where he works really well with her but also gets countered quite hard by her. So I'm not sure exactly if we'll do anything as far as minor tuning and stuff, but we're definitely talking about it. This is actually really huge. So they're looking at Reinhardt here and they want to change him, but they don't want to change him to such an extent that would change the way he's played. So what would they do to Reinhardt? Well, it's interesting to me that he talks about Brigitte, and what does Brigitte do, and why does she shut down a Reinhardt? It's because she can stun him, and when she stuns a Reinhardt, if he's charging or if he has just got his barrier deployed, he's screwed. Like, he's just stunned. Ultimates can get fired through his barrier. He can be charged away. There's loads of things that can be done to Reinhardt. So this leads me to believe that they're probably looking at some way to make Reinhardt immune to stuns. I wouldn't be surprised if Reinhardt gets almost like a new ability, or they tie this into one of his actual abilities. So when he's got his shield deployed, he actually has some form of stun immunity, so he can't be stunned. That would be really interesting to me. The problem is, there is a bit of counterplay, isn't there? Because while he's got his shield up, McCree can throw his flashbang over the top. You can charge him with an enemy Reinhardt, so it would kind of not make sense to make him immune to stuns in that situation. So maybe they would be looking at giving him like a reduction in stun duration. Maybe Reinhardt only has stun effects last for 50%. So, if a stun lasts for 2 seconds, on Reinhardt, it only lasts for 1 second. That'd let him react faster. And let's be real here. The fantasy of Reinhardt is this massive warrior in massive Crusader armor. He would not be like, oh, McCree's flashbang me, and be stunned for the same duration as like a Tracer who's literally running around in a piece of lycra. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. Actually, this interview contained a lot of really funky bits. Looks like Reinhardt's Earthshatter is getting rebuilt from the ground up. There's possible reworks for Reinhardt, maybe some new abilities, and loads of other stuff have been covered in this video. Guys, I've been Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. If you enjoyed the video, then like the video, and remember, press the bell as you won't get the video, and follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. Toodaloo.